Right now is the holy month of Ramadan, and around the world, Muslims are celebrating this month-long celebration. I wanted to see what everybody was eating when they broke their fast. So 5 people from 5 countries sent me their favorite Ramadan iftar dishes for me to try.
Hi, my name is Riska. I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia. Although I was born and raised in Jakarta, I grew up with a strong Acehnese culture in my home, which is where my mom is from. She is from Aceh, which is located in the most western part of the country. You might recognize the area from the 2004 tsunami, which was one of the hardest areas hit by the tsunami at the time. The reason that I like this dish so much is because it reminds me of Ramadan, because I only have it for Ramadan, especially for iftar. The dish tastes, I would say, like a warm hug on a cold day. It immediately warms you up right after you spoon it. It warms your neck, your stomach, everything.
That was so much chopping. I felt like I was chopping forever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things. 7. But now it's time to cook. Just kidding. Now I have to blend spices. I thought it was time to cook. More prep.
It just warms up and it feels very, very good, especially after 12 plus hours not having anything. The dish also reminds me of togetherness, because in Aceh, the dish is actually usually served during breakfasting in mosques, and once the call to prayer is heard, they will serve it to anyone that comes to the mosque. Whether you're rich, poor, you don't eat it alone. It reminds me of togetherness.
So this is my first time using white cardamom, and we've learned that white cardamom is different than bleached green cardamom, and when you smell it, it kind of smells like toothpaste or like gum, and it says on here that it does have a minty aftertaste, but it's super different from normal cardamom. I'm excited to taste it in the dish. I like it. I like the smell.
Food and Ramadan is very, very closely connected. My favorite part about Ramadan is that I can have more time to myself and also to take care of my family, and also to see friends that we don't usually see on a daily basis.
I've had to add a lot of extra water to get this to break down, so I think when you're making it, just keep adding water until you see it start to break down, because you're keeping this uncovered, so all the water is just going to evaporate.
Really, in Ramadan is where we connect to each other. It's also a time to connect to ourselves, to be a better version of ourselves.
I need to pull out the bombs, which is what Reja calls them, the whole spices. Like in biryani, you'll get them and they crack your teeth if you take a bite of them. So I have to find at least the cinnamon and the cardamom. The cloves might be a little difficult, but here's a cardamom. I don't want to eat those either. The cinnamon is easy.
You should try this dish because it's very warm, it's very comforting, very hearty. Maybe for Indonesians, it's a break from the usual sweet stuff or maybe the greasy stuff that we usually have for iftar. It really represents the uniqueness of Indonesian dish overall.
This smells really nice. I'm ready to dig in. Is it hot? That's very comforting. I can see this as a breakfast dish to be something that just like fills you up, warms you up. I like it. You can also put chicken in this. I didn't have chicken, so we just put shrimp in it. Hot. Oh, I forgot. I forgot this was really hot. I'm enjoying this. Cooking this took a lot longer than I expected because we cooked it uncovered, so a lot of the water kept evaporating, so we kept adding more. But then also, because cooking kanji just takes a while, the rice or whatever starch you're using just has to break down a lot. This one broke down, I think it took around 30-ish, 30 minutes? Yeah, I think like around 30 minutes. This is my first meal today. So it kind of works. I'm really hungry. The one thing about this dish that was complicated was that there was so much prep, so much chopping. Not even done yet. I felt like I was chopping and blending forever. It probably honestly took around 30 minutes to prep it. just as long as it took to cook it. Ultimately, I do think all that prep was worth it because it tastes really nice, but like there was a lot going on, like a lot. It was cool working with some new spices like the white cardamom. I don't really know what I'm gonna use it again for, but I'm just gonna put it in my spice cabinet with all my other spices. I've got a lot at this point, so many. But of course I'm out of cumin. That, you don't need to know that, but that's the truth. I'm out of cumin. I didn't get shrimp. Yum, the shrimp is good. It's very good. You've probably seen these Our Place pans multiple times on my channel, and for good reason. Our Place just launched their new Titanium Pro cookware line, and let me tell you, this is a game changer. It's restaurant-grade titanium cookware that combines the searing power of stainless steel with virtually indestructible nonstick performance. And when I say these pans can handle heat, they can, and I mean hot, hot. 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 535 degrees centigrade. They make my kitchen feel like a pro's chef's kitchen, and after making hundreds of your recipes, I'd say I'm getting there, right? This new set is fully clad, ultra hardened, and built for Michelin star kitchens, but now it's available for home cooks. It even comes with a limited lifetime warranty, so it's basically the last cookware set you'll ever need to buy. But unlike traditional nonstick, these pans aren't coated. They're constructed to be naturally nonstick so they won't leach, scratch, or wear down over time. No chemical coatings, no toxins, just pure performance. They come in multiple sizes, so no matter what I'm making, there's a perfect pan for the job. From stir-fried seared steaks, omelets to pasta, they can do it all. One of the most surprising things for me is that you can use metal on them, although we all know that I pretty much only cook with a wooden spoon. And they're dishwasher safe and oven safe because, let's be honest, if I can cut down on dishes, I'm all for it. So I understand why they're called the Always Pan. You will always be using it. If you're interested in trying these, use my code BERYL10 at checkout. That will give you 10% off your first order. The link is in the description. And trust me, it is worth it.
Hi everyone, my name is Shireen. I am from Pakistan. I'm currently living here in Chicago, Illinois. Today I'm gonna talk about a recipe which is really close to my heart. We call it chicken aloo ke kabab, which basically means chicken, potato, kebabs or patties. It has a very smooth velvety texture and then the perfect amount of salt and black pepper and that hint of lemon and that breadcrumb coating which makes it really crunchy. It just takes you to another world. This dish is very close to our family. Not everybody in Pakistan make it, but if anybody do make it, they might call it with a different name. So if any Pakistanis are watching this and they are thinking that, okay, this is not what we call that, so apologize, but that's what we call it at our home.
I've said this before, but I love my potato ricer, especially when you need a really smooth potato dough. I also like seeing everything come out of it. It looks like spaghetti. So those are two reasons why I like it.
This is one recipe which we always make in Ramadan. It is very close to our heart because this was one of the favorite dish of my eldest brother, Mir Balaj. We unfortunately lost him back in 2011 due to cancer, and this makes this dish more special because whenever I make it, it reminds me of him, all the good times that I had with him.
One of the things that I like about using a potato dough is, unlike normal dough, you can just add more potato dough when you have cracks or holes. So it's really a low risk kind of dough with high reward because it tastes so good. Ta-da!
Ramadan is a month where we believe it's the time to give back to the community and get connected to your God. It is a very spiritual month and it is very special to our family because this is the time when we all have all of our meal together because there is a set time to eat and there is a set time to stop eating, so we all know that we have to be around during that time.
I've made dishes like this with my mother-in-law in India, but we've always made them vegetarian. I think they'll taste good with the chicken and the cheese though, like yum. I've also made these a little bit big. So these are gonna be like 3-bite babies, but I don't think I'm gonna complain, and I don't think that anyone who I will share this with is going to complain. Plus, we're gonna have a sauce with it. Plus, they just look really good. So all those things equal yum.
So that's the reason we are always together. We pray together, we sit together, and we reminisce about the time when we all were younger and life was so much easier and we had all of our loved one close to our heart and our home. So yeah, do try this dish, and when you try it, do say a small prayer for my brother Mir Balaj, who is in heaven watching over me. That's all. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate that this dish has so many memories for Shireen. I think that food and memories are so connected, so I'm very excited to try this one. I paired it with some Maggi Hot and Sweet. If you know, you know. I did make these a little big. That's okay. You can taste the chicken in this, you can taste the cheese and the potato. The lemon gives it a nice sour taste, and they're crunchy. I'm gonna put this whole one down quickly. I did bring Mrs. Ball's chutney, which I learned about in my grilled cheese episode. The hold that this has on me, it is so good with everything. I'm gonna leave a link in the description for where you can get it. Honestly, this condiment slaps. Come on, Mrs. Balls. I think it's gonna pair really, really well together. Yup. That pairing is so good. It just goes really well with everything. Who doesn't love a fried potato croquette? That's honestly what I think. One down. 4 to go. Should I do it? Save them for my neighbors. Save some for Leia. Leia, you want one? Yeah. She wants one. One of my favorite things about seeing Ramadan feasts is the diversity of foods on the table, and there's always gonna be something fried. This something fried, yum. And obviously you don't need to be Muslim or celebrating Ramadan to try this at home because it's delicious and has very minimal spices, so I think it's something very easy to recreate. 10 points to Pakistan. I really like working with potato dough. It's so forgiving. You can just patch up your little holes and then Bob's your uncle, you're ready to go and fry.
Hi, my name is Amy and I live in the state of Negeri Sembilan in Malaysia. The Ramadan dish that I want to talk about today is called Daging Masak Kicap, or simply beef cooked in a sweet soy sauce broth. The soy sauce that we use for this dish is a bit special. It's called Kicap Lemak Manis. Our version is a bit different compared to the Indonesian Kicap Manis. Ours is a bit runnier in consistency and they taste it a lot creamier too. My favorite thing about Daging Masak Kicap is that it's very easy to cook, especially for Ramadan. Because Ramadan here in Malaysia, it can be quite hot and humid. So personally for me, I don't want to spend all that time cooking in the kitchen.
This recipe calls for 7 to 12 chilies. I am just not brave enough for that. I chose 4 bigger chilies, but like 12 chilies is wild. I did do a chili episode if you want to watch me eat a lot of spicy food, and I'm going to link it in the description. I did do one dish that was all chilies, but this is a different type of chili. So too spicy for this little white girl. In the past, I've cut beef wrong, and I know now you have to cut against the grain, and it looks like the grain is going this way. So I want to cut this way, right? Okay, I still am not sure. Beef is not my forte. I'm still learning.
This dish is very fragrant. It's creamy with sweet and umami flavor, a bit spicy. It comes from the ingredients used such as the kaffir lime leaf, the chilies and gingers, and the coconut milk. Masak kicap is a very common dish here in Malaysia. You could literally make it from any protein of your choice, but there is going to be a slight differences in the methods according to those protein.
I just realized I'm like 3/4 of the way through this bottle. That's shocking. Cause I use this for fun, well like not for fun, but I use it on my own cause I love it so much. But I guess I also use it a lot for cooking on this channel. But yeah, 3/4 of the way, look at me.
When I first learned how to cook, this is actually one of the first dishes that I try. This version of daging masak kicap is actually my mom's recipe. She would often make it for iftar. Iftar is the breaking fast, the first meal you eat after sunset, or the call of prayer. She would ask me, what do you want today? So this is like one of the dishes that I frequently requested her to make.
That's a lot of coconut milk. I think we're just gonna leave it uncovered so it reduces, but I'm a little nervous. Please work. I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. Lime leaves, they smell amazing. They are hard to find, but they are one of my favorite aromatics. Just like, oh, breathe it in.
Ramadan and food are always interconnected with each other, especially in terms of sharing what you have with other people. My favorite thing about Ramadan is how it connects people. My siblings and I, we are all grown up and have our own lives and families, so we are always quite busy. Every time Ramadan came, we always try to align our schedule so that we can have iftar together at least once a week. This dish is very comforting. It's warm and hearty and very close and dear to my heart, so I hope you'll enjoy making it too.
This is kind of like a braised beef dish with coconut milk, which is very exciting to me. But there are a good amount of chilies in here. It's tender. I was a little bit worried about cutting against the grain, but I cut the right way. Yay! Oh, I can taste the chilies. Even with the rice, the spice is there. Take a little more rice this time. Those lime leaves are so aromatic. It doesn't taste like limes. It just has a very particular flavor, but mostly it's a smell that has a flavor, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you know what I mean, but that's what I mean. I've never cooked beef in coconut milk before, but you can taste the creaminess of it in the sauce. And the sauce, because we cooked it down for so long, is a little bit thick and has like a really nice mouthfeel to it. I was worried that the beef was gonna be too big, but the size is perfect because it shrunk when it cooked it. And Leia told me it would shrunk, but I didn't believe her.
You're a little bit.
I would definitely recommend trying to make this at home. The ingredients are super accessible and you don't need the lime leaves. Those just add an extra layer, but without them, this is still gonna be really nice.
Hi Beryl, my name is Amira. I'm Lebanese, but I was born and raised in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The dish that I want to share with you today is called Samboosik. Samboosik is an appetizer that is triangle shaped or half moon shaped, depending on where you are. It's a deep fried starter that's filled with either a cheese filling or a spiced meat filling. And it's a starter we have every day and is present every day on our iftar table in Ramadan.
If you look this recipe up, the traditional cheese is called akawi that you should use, but Amira told me that you can substitute feta, so that's an easier way to make it if you're not in the Middle East.
The iftar table usually is very generous with food. There's always dates. You will always find samboosik, there's soup, a salad, a main meal. Everyone eats together. There's just a sense of community and family. And in a way, samboosik kind of represents that for me because we only have samboosik during Ramadan.
There are a couple ways to make this. You can use phyllo dough and make little triangles, but you can also make half moon shapes, so that's what we're gonna do today. And Leia found actual samboosik dough, which is pretty cool. Good job, Leia, 5 points. So that's what we're gonna do, the half moons.
To me, my favorite filling is the cheese filling, which usually will include nigella seeds, a mix of herbs, a mix of cheeses, and it's rolled into a samboosik dough, which you find in all supermarkets around this time of year.
So we left these out to defrost and we kind of didn't keep them totally covered, so now like they're all really dry and they're cracking. And now I'm really stressed out. I feel like I've been stressed out a couple times in this episode. Ugh. The ones in the pack are better, so I think that we're doing good. I'm not sure what size these are supposed to be. I'm not sure of a lot of things right now. I'm just vibing here, going with the flow. That's a lie. I'm stressed. I'm not going with the flow at all. I like to think I am.
It's something my mom, of course, made during the whole month of Ramadan. It's something we helped her prepare. And as a mom myself with my own family now, it's something that I've carried over with my daughter. It's also a month where, you know, every year my daughter grows, trying to build some magic around it to make, you know, her more conscious about what this month means to us and how she can contribute on her own.
I'm not gonna lie, these stressed me out, but at the end of the day, I think they turned out really nice. Whoa. Cheesy. They taste really good. What can you expect with a feta mozzarella stuffing in a fried dough? So I'm not really surprised, but I am surprised that they turned out. So I was, you know, I was in a pit. But now I feel like on top of the world. We use Samboosik dough, but I honestly think that you could get away with wonton wrappers because they're pretty similar. They're just gonna be a little thinner, which I think would be fine for something like this. Obviously, phyllo dough is another way to go, but personally, I find phyllo dough pretty difficult to work with, so I'm glad that we use this instead. I'm pretty proud of my folding technique. It's something that I learned when I made kujia from the dumpling episode, which I will link in the description. Tell me that is not perfect. But yeah, I think that they turned out looking pretty authentic from the pictures that I've seen online. I could just easily put this entire plate down. They are that good. Making something like this definitely feels like a group activity. Towards the end of it, I was getting a little tired of all the folding. And I only made like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I only made 12 of these and I was like, whew. That's enough tucking and folding for me. But if I was there with a bunch of other people and we were chit-chatting and having fun, I think this would be a great group activity. These weren't necessarily easy to make, but if you're somebody who likes working with dough or likes making dumplings, I think they would be easy for you.
Hi everyone, I'm Zuri and I'm a Cape Malay Muslim from Cape Town, South Africa. The dish I want to introduce to everyone is called Bubur. I don't think that there's a direct translation into English, but I believe it's a local variation of an Indonesian dish called Bubur manis. But it would make sense seeing as the Cape Malay people are descendants of the Indonesian, Malaysian and Indian immigrants who came to Cape Town many years ago. Bubur is a sweet, milky drink flavored with rose water, cinnamon and cardamom and served during iftar, or as we call it in Cape Town, buka, which is when we would break our fast for the day before we begin our prayers for the night. I know rose flavored things are very hit and miss in other countries, but it's a very comforting and very familiar flavor within Cape Malay desserts. It's thickened with sago pearls and has toasted vermicelli noodles, so it's got a lovely thick texture. I personally prefer mine quite thick. I love eating it with a spoon out of a bowl. I don't know if Bubur is something that's served across South Africa, but it is a very common dish to serve during iftar in Cape Town, especially on the 15th day of Ramadan. It's something everyone looks forward to having, and it's so popular within Cape Town that even non-Muslims look forward to it. Iftar in Cape Town is very communal and goes hand in hand with food during Ramadan. We would often exchange baked and fried goods with all of our friends and neighbors during Ramadan. So everyone's tables are always filled with a variety of yummy things.
I'm surprised that the almond milk cooked down and became as thick as it has. I thought that I was gonna have to add cornstarch, but almond milk cooks down thick, like thicky thick, like actual milk too. That's cool. Rose water is one of those things to me that I love the flavor of, but like you're always just a tickle away from being inundated with rose flavor. So I definitely think less is more and you go like little bits at a time, because if you're not careful, you're just gonna be like drinking roses, which sounds nice in a way. I don't know. It doesn't sound nice to me actually, but like you gotta be delicate. But it smells like the most beautiful perfume ever. Like I wanna wear it, but I don't wanna drink too much of it. At this point, I'm at half a teaspoon of rose water. To be honest, I have to taste this one because it's a dessert. I think I could add a little more rose water still. Is my rose water weak? What's happening? It smells like rose water. I think my rose water is weak.
My favorite memories of Ramadan as a child in Cape Town was when about an hour before iftar, me and my siblings would put on our abayas and our hijabs, and we would excitedly race around our neighborhood exchanging whatever my mom made for iftar. There's also a lot of suburbs within Cape Town where they would close off an entire road and everyone would come with picnic blankets and sheets and all of those things and have a long road full of people having iftar together, which I think is beautiful. Thank you.
To be fair, I have tried this already, but that's because I feel like when you're making a dessert, you have to test for sweetness, but I haven't tried it with my garnishes, and I haven't tried it on camera. It's so good and thick and creamy. It reminds me of a rice pudding. It's thick in my mouth. I can taste the rose water, but not too much. The pistachios on top are really nice. I love the sago in here. This type of sago actually makes one of my favorite Indian dishes called sabudana, and I'll leave a recipe in the description if you want to try that. But it's really good. I had it for my first time in Mumbai. As a dessert, like, this is just tickling all the right parts of me. Oh, they didn't like that either. This is hitting all the right notes. It's sweet, but not too sweet. There's texture within it, so it's not just thick and creamy, but it also is thick and creamy in a really nice way. The nuts on top have a little bit of crunch. I just feel like this is a great way to end your meal. So to everybody in South Africa celebrating, happy Ramadan, but to everybody around the world celebrating, happy Ramadan. Until next week, I'm leaving you with 2 episodes, our community Ramadan episode in case you missed it, and my ginger episode because I liked it. I'll see you all in my next episode.